Hi, so I was just clearing out my shed and came across this diesel heater that I actually replaced recently, and just thought there might be a few things that I have to say about it that might be useful to some. This particular unit has been heating my cabin for the last couple of years, and I would estimate it's done well in excess of 1,000 hours. I don't want to spend too much time on how to dismantle it, because that have already been covered in many videos, I'm sure. But it is really easy to get these things apart. There's not really very much to them. You need a 10mm spanner just to get this plate off of the bottom of it, and there's 4 bolts or 4 nuts on there you remove, and that plate comes off. That allows you to pull the combustion chamber out. You need a 12mm spanner to get the glow plug out, which actually sits in there, and there's just a nut on it. You just take it out and out that comes. And then you've got one Allen key that serves to take these 4 Allen bolts out. That holds in this, which I'll call vaporizer tube for lack of a better word for it. And then on the outside of that, you've got, for the same Allen key, 4 bolts that holds the fan on. And once you've taken those off, it just really comes apart very easily. Incidentally, the way that these things work is very straightforward. Basically, the pumps that you have that tick away, they just feed this, and essentially it just goes in. There's no atomizer as such, or injector that you might have on a diesel car. It just strips in through a gauze mesh onto the heater plug. The heater plug warms it up, obviously it ignites, and then it heats the rest of this tube, which then keeps it alight. And it's as simple as that. So not very much to them. Okay, so the real point of the video is that a few people have said, so this started to smoke really badly at startup, and it would smoke just white clouds of smoke for 2 or 3 minutes, I suppose. Really dense smoke. So I had a look on the internet, and some people said, oh yeah, that's the heater plug pump. Some people said it's a mucky combustion chamber. So I just thought I'd share this with you. So bearing in mind the number of hours it's done, this is the glow plug or heater plug that came out of it, if I can get a shot of that. And as you can see, not really very much wrong with that. So that's given very good service. And then the next thing I looked at was the combustion chamber, and I don't know if you can see this here, but might be able to see that, but actually pretty clean, given the number of hours that it's done. So that certainly wasn't the fault. And I put that down to really the fact that when this particular heat has been running, it doesn't just run for 5 or 10 minutes, it goes on, it'll be on all day. So it doesn't build up very much carbon deposits on the inside. But then we move on to, as I say, I call this vaporizer tube, don't know what it's called, but we move on to this, and this is perhaps the interesting bit. This is the, as I said before, this is the inlet pipe for the diesel, drips onto the glow plug, but this is perhaps the interesting bit. So on the assumption that is supposed to be round, you can see that over the course of time that has completely distorted, and furthermore, this weld has just disintegrated. And so I suspect that would have been the cause of my issues. But I think what I would conclude from that is, if your heater's coming up to, say, having done maybe 500 hours, it's very worthwhile, given that you can get it apart in 15 minutes, it's very worthwhile just stripping it back and and just having a good look. Because the other thing that's worthy of note, bearing in mind this heater is outside my cabin, and all the gubbins is outside. It's just the inlet and the outlet hot air pipe that are fed into the cabin, and they're insulated. So this is all outside, thankfully, because what has also happened over a period of time is this, and it's burnt a hole in the exhaust. And obviously if your system was in a yacht or maybe even a motorhome, and any part of this exhaust is inside, that's another thing you need to keep your eye on. In the overall, as I say, I think it's just one has to remember that it has done very many hours. Incidentally, for about 10 quid, the whole thing now is about 85 quid on eBay. So if you have any issues, it's probably not even worth bothering with, if I'm honest. But if you do want to strip it down, well, not really worth bothering with if it's anything on this scale. So if you do want to strip it down though, gasket set and a new glow plug, the little tool to clear out this, which can all be done without dismantling it. Yeah, and the tool for actually getting the glow plug out, the gasket set if you do strip it down, yeah, about £9.99 I think. And then just a couple of things while I'm here that might be interest to some other people, is fuel pumps. So there's a range of these. This is allegedly an 8 kilowatt heater, but there's a range of these pumps available, and I was always left wondering which one's the right one to use, and you know, whether they're compatible. Basically any pump that I've put on, whatever type, always seems to have the same capacity and always brings the heater up to in excess of 200 degrees in the combustion chamber. So again, I conclude from that they're all pretty much of a muchness. Briefly, controller units, I heard somebody say, or if people ask, are they compatible? What I can say, this is, I had a replacement heater that I've put on, and this is the controller. It's more one of the newer ones. I had an older, still digital one, and thankfully it's the same connections and it works with the new heater, so I didn't have to pull all the wiring out.